Hi, I'm Chloe. Here, I share videos to help you learn English in fun and different ways. We'll explore practical phrases you can use in daily life as well as cultural insights. Let's get started. Motivation is temporary, habits are forever. Picture this, it's the beginning of January. You wake up early, full of excitement. You promise yourself this year will be different. I will exercise every day, eat healthier, read more, and finally chase my dreams. For the first few days, you feel unstoppable. You go to the gym, you eat salads, you wake up early, but then something happens. It rains one morning and you don't feel like going outside. Work gets busy and you skip a workout. Suddenly, the motivation you felt so strongly starts to disappear. Sound familiar? That's because motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the weather. But habits are forever. The truth is, relying only on motivation is the fastest way to fail. If you want long-lasting change, if you want to build a life of success and fulfillment, you need habits. In this talk, we'll explore why motivation fades, why habits are stronger, and how to build habits that stick for life. 1. The problem with motivation. Motivation feels amazing. It's like a spark that lights a fire inside you. It pushes you to start new things, to imagine a better version of yourself. But here's the problem. Motivation is emotional, and emotions are unpredictable. One day, you wake up excited, ready to conquer the world. The next day, you feel tired, lazy, or distracted. Motivation is like a guest that visits without warning and leaves without saying goodbye. If you depend on it, your success will be inconsistent. That's why so many people fail to keep their New Year's resolutions. They rely on motivation alone. When motivation leaves, so does their progress. 2. The power of habits. Habits are different. Habits are the things you do automatically without thinking. Do you need motivation to brush your teeth in the morning? No. Do you need motivation to tie your shoes before leaving the house? No. You just do it because it's a habit. Imagine if exercise, reading, or healthy eating became as automatic as brushing your teeth. That's the power of habits. Once something becomes a habit, you no longer need motivation to keep going. Habits are like autopilot. They guide your life without effort. In fact, research shows that nearly 40% of our daily actions are based on habits, not conscious decisions. So if you build good habits, you build a good life. 3. Motivation gets you started. Habits keep you going. Think of motivation as the spark that lights the fire, and habits as the wood that keeps the fire burning. The spark is necessary, but without wood, the fire dies quickly. Motivation is excellent for starting something new. Your first day at the gym, the first page of a book, the first lesson of a new skill. But habits are what carry you through the 100th day, the 200th page, or the 50th lesson. Habits turn your actions into part of your identity. When you say, I'm motivated to run, it's temporary. When you say, I'm a runner, it's identity. And that identity comes from habits. 4. Why habits shape identity. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you choose to exercise, you are voting for the identity of a healthy person. When you choose to write, you are voting for the identity of a writer. When you choose to learn, you are voting for the identity of a learner. Over time, these votes add up. Motivation might give you a few votes in the beginning, but habits keep the ballots coming, day after day. Eventually, your identity changes. You no longer just do the thing, you become the kind of person who does it. That's why habits are forever. They shape not only what you do, but who you are. 5. How to build habits that last. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually build habits that stick? Here are practical steps you can use. I start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Instead of saying, "I'll run 10 kilometers every morning," start with just putting on your running shoes and walking for 5 minutes. Small wins build momentum. B. Attach new habits to old ones. This is called habit stacking. Link a new habit to an existing one. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. After I make coffee, I will read 1 page of a book. C. Make it easy. Remove friction. If you want to exercise, lay out your clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthy, keep fruit on the counter instead of candy. D. Reward yourself. Your brain loves rewards. Celebrate small victories. This makes the habit enjoyable and sustainable. E. Stay consistent. Habits are built by repetition, not perfection. Missing one day won't ruin you, but consistency is the secret. Keep showing up. 6. The science behind habits. Habits are formed in the brain through a loop. Cue gives routine, gives reward. Cue. The trigger that starts the behavior. You see your running shoes by the door. Routine. The action itself. You go for a run. Reward. The positive feeling you get. You feel proud, energized, or relaxed. Repeat this loop enough times, and the behavior becomes automatic. The brain loves efficiency. Once a pattern is established, it saves energy by turning it into a habit. That's why habits are so powerful. They work even when motivation is gone. 7. Breaking bad habits. Just as good habits build a good life, bad habits destroy it. Scrolling on your phone for hours, overeating junk food, procrastinating. All of these feel easy in the moment, but costly in the long run. To break a bad habit, change the loop. Remove the cue. Don't keep chips in the house. Replace the routine. Go for a walk instead of scrolling. Change the reward. Find a healthier source of pleasure. Breaking habits is hard, but remember, you don't need to be perfect. Every time you resist, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen a new one. 8. Stories of habits over motivation. Athletes, Olympians don't train only when they feel motivated. They train every day because training is a habit. Writers. Stephen King writes 2,000 words every morning, not because he is always motivated, but because it is his routine. Entrepreneurs. Successful business owners don't wait for motivation to work. They build systems and habits that keep them moving forward. The people we admire are not superhuman. They simply rely on habits instead of emotions. 9. Motivation as the beginning, not the end. Let's be clear, motivation is not useless. It is powerful, it gets you started. It is the spark that makes you say, "I want to change." But motivation should never be your only strategy. Use motivation as fuel to begin, then immediately build habits to continue. Motivation is like the first push of a swing. Habits are what keep it moving back and forth long after. 10. Building a life around habits. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be 5 years from now? Then, reverse engineer it. If you want to be healthy, what daily habits do you need? If you want to be wealthy, what financial habits do you need? If you want to be happy, what gratitude or mindfulness habits do you need? Success is not about sudden bursts of motivation. It's about small daily habits compounded over time. 11. The forever part. Habits are forever because they become part of your lifestyle. Once you build them, they require little effort to maintain. Like riding a bike, once learned, it stays with you. Motivation fades, but habits remain. That's why the key to long-term success is not chasing motivation. It's designing your environment, routines, and identity to support the habits that matter. 12. A challenge for you. Here's a challenge. Think of one habit that would change your life the most if you practiced it daily for the next year. Just one. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's saving money. Commit to building it. Start small, stay consistent, and let habits transform your identity. 1 year from now, you'll thank yourself. 13. Closing thoughts. Motivation is like the wind. It comes and goes. If you rely on it, you will always be at its mercy. But habits are like the ground beneath your feet, solid, dependable, permanent. Yes, motivation can start your journey, but habits are what carry you to the finish line. So the next time you feel unmotivated, remember, you don't need to feel inspired to act. You just need to follow your habits. Because when motivation disappears, habits remain. And in the end, habits are forever.